Yo, what up, hoop heads? Got to get the rust out tonight, baby. It's been a while. What's going on, fellas? It's your boy JB the Chef here with Undrafted Hoops, coming at you with another episode of our off-season block party. I know we haven't been as consistent with this lately, but it's because vacation season for the family, so it's very important. But we're back. We look to keep these shows pumping the rest of the off season. We got the FIBA World Cup right around the corner. But before I get into all that, I gotta quick mention out the Hardcore Sports Network on YouTube. Our shows are listed on their site. Not only just our shows, they have a ton of content. Every sport possible, even wrestling. That ain't a sport, but that's for a different conversation. But they got a great wrestling following, football right around the corner. The Birds. So make sure you give them a subscription. Also, subscribe to our channel, Undrafted Hoops, on YouTube. Smash the subscribe button for us, please. Also, Facebook, Undrafted Hoops, and Twitter at Undrafted Hoops _. Content's a little of a bit of a lull right now because of the off season, but we pump content. If you don't know, go check it out. I mean, all year long, we follow everything in the league. So check out both of them. But tonight, we are going to cover the New York Knicks. I'm still on the fence about how I'm even going to do this show, to be honest with you, because the New York Knicks are tough team, tough coached. But before I get into that solo, got to bring my boy on, the Mad Wizard himself, Gary H in the building.
What's up, my brother?
Been a while since I've seen that beautiful face.
It has been a while, man. I'm glad to be back. We got a little bing bong, for the Knicks going on out here.
Yeah, I dig it, bro. The Knicks are that team that I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with them this season.
What's going on, man?
What's up, brother? Last season, they get knocked out in the second round of the playoffs. I thought they had a real opportunity to get over that hump against the Miami Heat, but Jimmy Butler's a whole different monster to deal with come playoff time. But let's get into the Knicks because a lot of people were down on them last year, and I was surprised because I love Jalen Brunson, but I was curious to see if he can get them into the second round. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen from New York last season, and let's talk a little bit about Jalen Brunson becoming the Batman for that team.
I mean, personally, going into the season, I didn't have expectations for the Knicks. So to me, they overachieved. They did well. But I think they got like a dog mentality. That team is tough, man. Jalen Brunson is perfect. Like there's no other way. Like, he is the perfect player for that team and Coach Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Julius Randle had big moments, but I don't think he's the number 2 option to me. I think they got to figure out a way to maybe move on from him. Yeah, I agree with you, Josh. ASAP. I mean, he produces and he's very good, but I don't think he fits what the Knicks do. He doesn't have that dog mentality. You see that he has a little bit of a quit in him. You know what I mean? When things aren't going well, he doesn't really try to push through it. He looks down. His body language is just tough. I like Quentin Grimes. I'm a huge Quickly fan. I like the direction of the Knicks. They're just a few pieces away, man.
It's funny you said that about Julius Randle. The end of the season was like something was off with him.
Yeah.
It was really weird the way he finished the year. I don't know if maybe the injury definitely took its toll on him in the playoffs, but even going into that time frame, I'm kind of a little bit.
Another Knicks fan talking about trade or Cam saying trade RJ.
I'm not high on RJ Barrett. Put him in a package with picks. So if that's the direction we're going to take this conversation, Let's dive in a little bit because the Knicks didn't have any first round picks this year. I know that was a big thing with Dallas tanking and therefore keeping their pick. So it left the Knicks empty-handed on draft day. They didn't make any moves on draft day.
And not just having their pick, they flipped their pick in a really good trade.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing I want to talk about with the Knicks is what people don't know is they actually covet like 10 draft picks over the next six seasons. Next year they have their own pick. They have Dallas's pick, if as long as they're a playoff team this year, and I think that they will be. And they have Detroit, which is top 18 protected, so most likely they're not going to obtain that pick next season. But I think while teams wanted the Knicks to make a splash this offseason, I don't think that they were really capable of doing that because of their salary complications with Evan Fournier. He's on his last year. He has a $19 million contract this year. And next year he's got a club option, and there is no way the Knicks pick that up. I mean, I will literally autograph that shit myself. And unless like the dude didn't play.
They're not picking it up.
So yes, absolutely not. So with the Knicks looking at 10 draft picks over the next 6 seasons and Fournier coming off the books, I think next season is where you're going to see the Knicks, like Josh said and like Cam said, if Brunson's your guy, then it's time to consolidate a little bit, right? They got to trade Barrett and all that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to trade Barrett. I think that they've bought into him. I think that they like RJ. They just got to develop him a little bit. Trade Fournier to the Wizards for Denny Avdia? No chance.
No chance.
No chance.
Like, I just think that they're handcuffed.
They have to play the patient game and wait a year, like you're saying. And there wasn't anything crazy for them to covet this offseason either.
Like, for real though, if Julius Randle's 100%, I mean the Knicks they lost in 6.
Yeah,
I mean,
6 games.
I mean
they 5. Yeah, 6.
It was 6. It was 6. They beat the Cavs in 5. They beat the Cavs in 5. Yeah. And then that was stunning to me because.
But that was like the story of their year. They got everybody's hopes up when they shouldn't have really been up, and then let you down by losing to the Heat. When really the Knicks weren't supposed to be a superior team going into the year. So it's like people just got their hopes up, and I understand it. But next year they're going to be just as good, if not better, and may be able to win that series, you know?
I'm really curious on this RJ Barrett, like this kind of hate towards him because I'll be honest.
He averaged almost 20 a game.
I mean, he went from 14 points to 17 to 20 to 19.6. His three-point shooting wasn't quite what they wanted it to be. It was around 31%, 31%, which was a little bit down from his average. But
I think his field goal percentage was only 43. But I mean, you can develop that. The kid's what, 20?
22.
He's a young kid.
I mean, and you know, he's been through a weird transition with the team because, you know, he came on as a rookie. He was a high draft pick. Expectations were high. And then he kind of just like settled into this point forward spot. But then they go out and get Brunson. So kind of changes his offensive mindset. I know he hired a shooting coach. I just like what the dude's able to do as an all-around player. I just think that maybe expectations are twisted for the kid. I mean, yes, he was a high draft pick. We had mentioned this, but like you just said, 22%, 31% from 3 is rough. Defense can improve. 20 points. I mean, Josh, he averaged 20 points per game.
Yeah, if he shoots 40%, he's going to average 25 with Brunson and Randle.
Yeah, like easily, dude. And I just think he's on Team Canada, so I know he's playing in the FIBA World Cup. So I'm excited to watch him play there. I think anybody that plays in this FIBA, truthfully,
yeah, 100%. I agree, Josh.
I just think anybody who plays in this FIBA is being proactive in their career and attempt to get better.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for it because the game is like just truthfully global. But
What
so
was Julius Randle's 3-point percentage? Do you know? I think it was like 33, 34%.
I think it was 34%.
Which to me, like you look at RJ compared to Julius. Yeah, they play different positions. RJ averaged 20 points a game. Randle averaged 25. RJ shot 31%. Randle shot 34. And then field goal percentage, Randle shot 45%. He's a big man. He should shoot better than that. And RJ had 43%. 5 point per game difference, and their percentages are off by 2 or 3%.
Also gets 2.5 less shot attempts a game. So I mean, it's not a tremendous amount, but
You switch their shots, and it's basically
you're
the same
just saying
production.
like you're saying though, if Barrett just bumps his percentages a little bit, he might become the number 2 scoring option for the team. I don't know. I think Brunson, he averaged 24 a game last year. I actually think he's going to raise that up next season. I think you might see him in the 27.
They got to figure, and the thing with me, why I say they should trade Randle, is because I think that they need another defensive big. You got Mitchell Robinson. He averages like 2 blocks a game, 1.8 or something. There's not another player on the Knicks that averages 1.
Totally agree. And I was going to touch on that, Gary. They didn't address the backup 5. And I watched Hartenson in some spots, and he played well.
Right, though.
He's a grinder, but
he's letting up stuff.
I mean, you're only playing Mitchell Robinson 27 minutes a game. I mean, there's a gap in minutes for them at the 5, in my opinion. And I mean, maybe it's too early in the off season to say that they haven't addressed the backup 5, but as of right now, I mean, they obviously had the money to go out and address a position. They used it on Dante DiVincenzo. So let's talk about him for a second. It brings Josh Hart, who they also re-signed, but it brings Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and DiVincenzo back together.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of DiVincenzo.
Okay, so am I, and I was surprised that he didn't have success in Golden State last.
I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work out. You know, some guys have a down year here and there, and maybe it was just his. He didn't fit in, probably didn't have much chemistry there with those guys. He's going somewhere new now, but he's also going somewhere relative. He's going to know these guys already. He played with Brunson, Josh Hart. He'll fit right in. He'll figure out a way. I mean, they need a shooter over there.
Yeah, he's a career. He averages 9 points a game. So you're not talking about a world beater here. We're talking about a guy that can just give them good defensive minutes. I think he shot like 43% from catch and shoot. And like you're just saying, they need shooters. So I do like the fit, and I do like the experience that he brings with, I mean, he is a late bloomer. He's 26.
Josh was asking, did they win a national title together?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That was the second Jay Wright national championship. The first one was the Eric Paschal team.
Was the first one with Chris Jenkins when he hit the buzzer beater, I think.
Yeah.
Against North Carolina.
Like, I live so close to Philly, but I'm not really a Nova guy. But like when they're good, you pay a little bit more attention.
You want to see a crazy number? Look at Josh Hart's 3-point percentage.
Oh, it was like 50% or something.
Yeah, 51%.
Well, he only shot 2 a game.
I mean, that's still 160 a season.
Yeah. No. I'm a huge Josh Hart guy, so
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that percentage, you got to bump his shots up. Why is Julius Randle shooting 8?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I guess Josh Hart's also a guy that kind of he allows the game to come to him, where he's not really looking to make a play like on that sense. He's kind of like your prototypical. He's like a Iguodala type, I think. He's capable of doing a lot of everything, but he's not looking for it. He's taking it when it's there. I mean, dude had some big moments for that team. I'm excited. I'm excited for this team, and let's talk about. They lost Derrick Rose. They traded Cam Reddish last season. He was part of the Josh Hart swap. So I guess that's going to open up minutes for Quickly and Grimes. And I think that's what not bringing Derrick Rose back, that was a big breakup for him and Thibodeau. I'm excited to see these guys get some more minutes, bro.
I'm a big Quickly fan.
Are you?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I'm a big Quickly fan. He's been a spark plug for them. There's been times where he just comes in and you can just feel his presence. Like, he scores. He's just a really good scorer. He's hustling up and down the court.
Oh, I know why
I'm just
you
a
like
fan.
him. I know why you like him. He's from Maryland, motherfucker. You tried to slide that one in there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, you can use that, but I know why. And whoever's watching knows why. But
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, okay. Sure. So he's going into his fourth season. He averaged 11.4, 11.3, 14.9 last season. Huge uptick in minutes played. He was playing close to 29 minutes a game, but is he gonna, I guess he's gonna hover around that 30-minute mark. I don't know if you can really give him more than that, right?
Nah, I would say, probably like 25, 30 minutes.
I'm looking up I'm trying to see how many times he scored 20 last year. Bear with me for 1 second. They have like a stat on Pro Basketball Reference where you can look up.
You can like ask the question, they'll tell you. I mean, I like Quickly. I personally think like, no, I'm not comparing him to this player in a sense of equal. But I mean, you want him to kind of be like your version of like a Tyrese Maxey for the Knicks, like not the Tyrese Maxey we have now who can just be a bona fide starter. But, from last year, where he comes off the bench and he can just score at will, has the chance of turning into somebody bigger. Quickly's really good, you know what I mean? Grimes also. I like Grimes too. He's a good defender and shoots a pretty good percentage from outside. Good 3-and-D guy.
So Quickly had 16 games. 20% of the season, he scored 25 points or more.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And it shows you, I can only see the next 4 games, but he scored 24 in all 4 of those games. Like, this is his top 20 games of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if he increases that 25 points a game from 16 to 25, you're talking about a dude that starts I'm going to say really make a name for himself, but I actually think he already is on a lot of teams' radars. I'm looking at, some big 3-point games where he's firing up threes, 8, 7, 8 a game. Some of his big games, he had double-digit threes. I'm not really sure, like, how they're going to be able to get all these guys their minutes. I guess Fournier just plays 0 again, or he's part of the trade package, but they got to
have to figure out to move somebody.
I mean, 16. You know what's even crazier? Of these 16 games I'm looking at, he had a negative plus minus only 4 times in that time frame. So, in terms of
he makes a positive impact,
especially when he's playing well. So it might be a thing for the Knicks where it's like, we're going to get Quickly going early, kind of set the tone for them. You know what I'm saying?
Might be able to get a lead out there.
The Knicks are crazy, bro. They were the 5 seed. They were either the 4 or the 5 seed last season, and it was their first year with Brunson. Like I said, they get DiVincenzo. I don't know if that's like a huge plus minus win percentage guy for him. Like if he's really going to give them X amount of more wins, but I don't know. You might be able to see the Knicks in the second round again next year. I mean, Cleveland did get better though. If you're talking about,
I mean, they have to get the 4 or 5 matchup again, or get into the top 4. You know what I mean? Which I don't know. It's going to be tough. The Knicks are probably a first-round exit next year, in my opinion.
They were 5th, so they were 5th last year. 47-35.
This year, they're probably going to be like 6th.
I'm going to ask you this question. I'm curious what your guess is. where do you think that the New York Knicks ranked offensively last?
Hold on, I have a couple. I don't have that number, but I have like some points per game
Well,
stat.
I know I have it. I'm curious where you think that they rank.
I'll probably say like, I don't know, 17th.
Third.
That's surprising.
Very surprised.
In
But
the
I mean,
playoffs, they had to be like at the bottom.
yeah, I mean, well, like I said, Randle was hampered in the playoffs, and I mean, you could say that Randle wasn't playing at his best, but when you take 25 points a game out of your lineup, it hampers a team, especially the guy that's leading the team in shot, field goal attempts.
Well, especially when you have no big men who can replace him and put up any points.
Exactly. They also lost Obi Toppin.
Yep.
So I know. I'll tell you what, man. I'm looking at this team, and I'm trying to figure out who's going to play back up 4 and 5 minutes.
Their team is just built so weird. Like, they have like 7 guys who have some promise, make sense, they're good players. And then there's like 7 guys that it's like, what are they on the roster for?
I mean, now, if we're thinking about how do you address that, we talked about them having picks. I'm looking at the roster for next season. Quentin Grimes is on a $4 million. Okay, so Quickly is a free agent after this. That's big, because if you're going to not pay Fournier, you got to think that they're going to pay Quickly next season.
And he probably could have a really good year knowing it's a contract year.
Yeah, the Knicks are quiet, bro. Quentin Grimes actually started 66 games for them.
He averaged like 10 points a game.
Yeah, he did it. Ooh, Grimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, he averaged 11, but
11.
with Quickly coming off the books. I'm assuming that they re-sign him. So I'm saying if Quickly has a big year, you got to assume the Knicks are going to keep him. Does that then make Quentin Grimes a trade prospect? I mean, like I said, he started 66 games for a second-round playoff team. He might have value, man. Like if you're really looking to improve at the 4,
yeah, they could always pair him up, with a couple picks, or pair him up with like an expiring contract. I'm sure he's definitely got value where they can go get something that they need.
Hell, with the Knicks having all these first rounders, right? And obviously they probably have multiple seconds in the next couple of years, but with what Atlanta traded John Collins for, the Knicks should have been knocking on the door, because ultimately they traded Collins for Rudy Gay and some picks.
Fournier and Grimes might get traded.
Yeah, that's my son in the thing. So if you think about it, Grimes is going to make about $5 million. Fournier makes about 18. It allows you to bring back $20-some million in salary. I mean, that's the route. Like if we're talking about depth and really trying to get to the ECF next year, which is going to be very hard to do, especially with teams like Cleveland getting better. Obviously, the Bucks, the Heat are going to be better. Boston got better. The East is tough. I think the Bulls are even going to be better. I just can't see the Bulls being that big again.
The East is tough. It's a tough conference.
The East is tough, bro. I'm going to hold up a second. NBA Eastern Conference.
I believe the East is top heavy, but it's still from 5 to 10 competitive, and they're all pretty good teams.
Can the Knicks win 50 games next year?
I mean, they can. I don't think they will, but they can.
Well, I mean, like if you look at the Sixers, they had 54 wins. I think they got progressively worse. Well, we don't even know what to expect from them. Just say they drop 10 wins. I say they go to 44, 45 wins. You're inserting a lot of wins in the Eastern Conference. I mean, Cleveland won 51 games last year, and the Knicks blew them out of the water in the playoffs. I mean, they beat them in 5 games. What does Jalen Brunson do in year 2 for the Knicks? Huge growth in his first year after leaving the Mavs. So that's a good point by Josh, and we touched on Brunson real early. And let's dive into his stats real quick.
He averaged like 24 points a game, 6 assists a game. Yeah, 42% from 3, which is a 8-point jump from the year before with the Mavs. And his 3-point percentage went up 5%, which is pretty good. I don't know. I think going into this year, I think he could probably up his points per game a little bit more, even get to 26, 27.
I'm thinking, yeah.
But he needs to get those assists, I think, to like 9 or 10.
See, I don't think you can do both, though. I don't think you can increase points and assists.
I think he 100% can, especially with the talent around him. 6 assists, having those guys around him.
Yeah, but a lot of guys handle the ball there too. That's my one thing with. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary for him to have to do that with the assist for them to be better. But the points, I do, because I think he needs the ball in his hands more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get you. Let's talk about how this man wasn't on the All-NBA team, but Julius Randle was.
Yeah, that's great. Julius Randle, though, I think Brunson's had a great season. I think Brunson, the playoffs take a little bit into consideration when we talk about.
Josh thinks he's going to regress a little bit.
Yeah, see, I don't. I don't. I think between his playoff run and now, look, he wanted to be a New York Knick. That says a lot because
he now knows he's the man.
Yeah, like he did his thing in the playoffs. Like he was battling. Like he was having some incredible moments, and I love him playing for the FIBA team. That's another thing. Like touch on the FIBA roster. I think that's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not a full blown regression, but I mean, like his percentages went down a little bit. His assists went up half, points per game down. Yeah, it's basically the same, like you said.
I hit the wrong thing. I'm trying to look up Brunson's game log here. I mean, Randall's game log.
I feel like them left-handers, man. They just, when they're really good, like they give people a lot of trouble because they're few and far between.
Yeah, it is an interesting an interesting thing in the NBA how the lefties, like you said, when they got it going on and they ain't got a guy that can kind of slow that down, they tend to go off.
Yeah, I'm not saying like all lefties got an advantage, but like them really talented ones who are left-handed, I feel like they just got even more of an advantage because the average person isn't left-handed. I mean, like
Julius Randle had a big year for
like dealing with right-handed dominant people. They shoot differently, so people aren't used to blocking that direction. It's just different.
Julius Randle had 22 games of 30 points or more this season for them.
Yeah, he had some big games. He's another lefty. That's crazy. They got 2 good lefties.
Yeah, half his season, he had 40 games this season. He had over 10 rebounds in every game. Julius Randle had a big year for them. I feel like we are kind of taking the end of the season a little bit too much into our conversation about him. The reason why I'm saying that is because you mentioned that he got the All-NBA nod. Dude, he was really good for them at the end of this season before he got hurt. Look, I'm looking at a stretch of games right here. At the end of the season, between games 61 and 73, so that's a 13-game window, he was averaging 29.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists a game. And in that span, he had 46 points, 43 points, and 57 points against Minnesota. And then he got hurt. I mean, he got hurt 3 games later, and he wasn't the same. I mean, he was not the same in the playoffs. I'm looking him up right now. I mean, he had
Yeah,
games.
comment says it's the perfect time to cash in on Julius Randle.
It could be. I mean, if they're looking to make a massive chance at eclipsing the Eastern like getting the Eastern Conference Finals, it might be necessary. But I'm not writing Julius Randle off because he really did have a really good year for them this season, and I think between him and Brunson, I just think that you're going to get close to 55 points a game with them two. It's a hard duo to let go of unless the return is significant. I don't know what it would be, but you package a guy like Randle and Grimes together, and you really might be able to get a difference maker player to play next to Brunson.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But it would have to be big for me to even consider it if I'm a New York Knicks GM.
How many years does Randle have left on his deal?
If you give me like 2 minutes, I'll pull it up. So you said the Knicks can win 50 games next season.
I mean, like I said, I think they could, but I don't think they will. I think they'll be right around the same, right around the 47 win mark.
You gotta. Are the Nets going to win more games than they did? I mean,
more games than the Knicks.
No. I'm saying that the Nets won 45 games last year.
I think they're going to be right around the same too as 45.
Toronto got worse. They had 41 wins. Like I think that if you're the Pacers clearly are going to get more wins.
The Wizards are going to get more wins.
What? More than 35 games?
Yeah, they're going to win 36.
Okay. I'll give you that one. I guess Orlando and Detroit most likely will get more wins too.
No,
but I don't know.
I'm not a Detroit guy.
I'm gonna say the Knicks get to 50 wins next year.
Think of this, bro. Miami finished below them.
Yeah, they were 44 and 38.
They could win 50 games next year.
I don't know about that.
That was the NBA Finals team.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I really don't, because I just think that they get hot in them series. Like it's hard they're a 7-game series team as opposed to a regular season.
So if we go by series, we think of teams better than the Knicks, right? We got Boston. We agree on that.
I mean, they were better last year though.
Milwaukee. We agree on that.
Definitely. Who else?
Cleveland.
I don't know. Are they? I mean, they got smoked by them.
Like you said, that's the playoffs. We don't care about that. Regular season, they're going to win more games. They have a better roster.
They probably will. So I'll say that. But they also finished 4 games above them last year anyway. So you've already named 3 teams that were already better than them.
To me, that's the only way they get out of the first round is if they match up with Cleveland again.
Or they could beat the Sixers.
No. Stop that nonsense.
I mean, I'm a Sixers fan, and I'm saying
I know, and you're an upset Sixers fan.
I am very upset right now.
They smoked Brooklyn, okay?
Yeah, but that's
Brooklyn's not much behind the Knicks.
Nah, they are. The Knicks are
not.
I don't know about that, Gary. I would say the Knicks win 50.
What'd you say? Brooklyn won 2 less games, 3 less games?
Yeah, 2 less games. But they also had KD for half the season.
Yeah, and they also were missing 3 players half the season.
Yeah, I don't know.
3 important players.
I actually liked what the Nets did too, and I even said to Josh before the show, not to pivot this, but maybe we'll talk about the Nets next show because they are interesting. They had an interesting
cliffhanger for that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a back-to-back New York show. Maybe our next show will be Brooklyn. That's a good idea. Well, actually, we're just going to say we're going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So just to pivot into that conversation, every year Ben Simmons gets mentioned that what if he reverts back to some sense of an NBA basketball player? I was thinking about that today because I say that the Nets are way behind the Knicks. Not way behind, but behind the Knicks. I don't know. Like,
they're not.
Yeah, but is Ben Simmons is he going to be serviceable for the Nets?
But this is the thing. They're not far behind with Ben Simmons not playing.
In street clothes.
If he comes back and he's quality, they're just as good.
Yeah, like if he could give him 24 minutes.
Yeah. And I don't understand, like, to me, there has to be a time where we get Ben Simmons back. Like the Ben Simmons that played with the Sixers. The one that's giving you 35 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to ever get that back. You think you'll get that again?
Yeah.
I don't, man.
I think so.
I mean, look, I have my animosity towards the guy when he was in Philly, but like I love basketball. So if Ben Simmons is playing at a higher level, it's better for my eyeballs. Like I root for that. I don't root for him to not play. Like I think of reasons why he should be playing. Ben Simmons has no pressure. He should be good. That's a very good point, actually.
I think Ben Simmons he's got all the talent in the world, man. He's gonna get right.
It's crazy. Like, let's talk about the Nets. Let's pivot to the Nets before we end the show. They got Mikal Bridges.
Okay. Go ahead.
They got Mikal Bridges. They got Nick Claxton, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Dennis Smith Jr., who had a very good season last year for Charlotte, Cam Thomas, who's a bucket, and they got Lonnie Walker, who played well in moments for a Western Conference Finals team. This team, they got Darius Baisley, too, who, I don't know, he's still 23, so they got a team full of guys who can play, really good defense. I mean, really good versatile defense. If you insert Ben Simmons into that, they could virtually switch almost every defensive assignment on the floor.
Yeah. Nets have all young guys. Yeah, it's true. I'm gonna give you one statement before, and we'll talk about the Nets next show.
Yeah.
The Nets will finish the season with a better record than the New York Knicks.
I was going to ask you that. So that's a bold take, but I
especially
do like
if Ben Simmons plays. If Ben Simmons plays,
yes, you're banking it on
100%, they're better than the Knicks.
That would be a really fun game. You know what? I'm actually, when NBA season comes out, I get the league pass every year, and I'm going to circle Knicks versus Nets at Madison Square Garden because the energy could be electric. That would be a fun Subway series. We really have a series where both teams are kind of like neck and neck, and it could be fun for the league. This season,
a future playoff matchup.
I know Knicks fans ain't going to be happy with it. Mad Wizard coming in, talking shit. Now I know you weren't talking shit on the. I know you do. You do like the Knicks, but I know you're saying
no hard feelings. I like the Nets too. We watch basketball here. I'm not talking about one team.
I think we covered them. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on the Knicks, or you're pretty good there?
No, I think I'm pretty good. Pretty good at talking about the Knicks. They're good, man. They just seem to always have timely injuries and know when to fall apart at the wrong time. Hopefully they can break that curse.
Yeah, I'm curious if Obi Toppin, losing him is going to be a big deal.
I mean, even when I was a kid, you know this. We were young. We were kids, man. The Knicks would get there. Eastern Conference Finals. What does Patrick Ewing and Allen Houston and Sprewell? What do they do?
Michael
they lose.
That dude right there was in the way.
Yeah, I mean, here we are. 20 years later, there's a new guy in the way.
Yo, have you ever seen The Last Dance?
Yes.
Bro, I watched it. So I was on vacation, and they got fucking Netflix, and they don't have TV or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna watch The Last Dance again because, fuck it, I'm on vacation, dude. I know we're on a New York Knicks show and they hate the Chicago Bulls. But if you haven't seen The Last Dance yet, dude, do yourself a fucking favor and watch it. It is a blast into my childhood. Watching Jordan come up from from the time he was drafted and throughout. Last Dance is absolute fire. I watched it with my son. He loved it. It's just awesome. It's awesome to see the GOAT, not named LeBron James.
They're both goats.
You were about,
like I said, man.
flinched.
Like I always say,
You
I'll
flinched.
argue if you want to pick one or the other. I'll always argue Michael. But to me, if you're a top 5 player of all time, you're someone's GOAT. They're all goats, man.
It doesn't matter.
They're all
The Knicks
valid.
ain't got one. The Knicks ain't got one.
Brandon Miller, unless you're Brandon Miller saying the GOAT is Paul George. Yeah, I don't know what he was on that day, but he was hanging out with LaMelo.
Yeah, he was playing 2K. But let's end the show.
Yes, sir.
Let's come back. Maybe a couple days. We'll do the Nets, and then we'll dive into a Western Conference team. Josh, behind the scenes, bro, we appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You and Gary, love you, brother.
Good, man.
Yeah, let's do it sooner than later. And that's it. That's all I got. Appreciate everybody in the comments. I'll make sure I double back after the show. Make sure I answer anything I might have missed. I'm so distracted when I'm trying to keep on track and not talk about other teams. That's hard. So when I see some comments, I miss some. I apologize. Like I said in the beginning of the show, Facebook, Undrafted Hoops, Twitter, @UndraftedHoops_. Daily content, covering everything in the NBA. If you haven't done it yet, smash the subscribe button on our YouTube page. If you like the show and you think you have somebody that might be interested in it, please share it. Retweet it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, because one more fan means the world to us, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. So your boy JB the Chef signing out. Peace. Fuck the Celtics. Booyah.